Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dede, and I am the Invincible CEO. And this is the Invincible CEO YouTube channel where we help you manifest with ease. I'm so excited to be with you. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I can get my words out as I'm looking at my different screens here so that I can see our wonderful messages as they come on board. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. This is our 14th live, and you would think by now I'd get that introduction down, but not to worry. We'll do some revision. We'll take care of that in post-production, right? So welcome back. I'm so excited that you're here today. I'm excited for you to enjoy all that we're going to be talking about. If you are here, let us know where you are. And please share where you're viewing from. So who are you? Where are you viewing from? I'm excited to answer all of your questions about manifestation. We take this beautiful deep dive every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. I thought about changing the times. We put up a beautiful poll in the community, and the community said, no, keep it at this time. So here we are once again. And we have some really fun topics to talk about this week. I literally just got done our 3-day Revise Your Past Manifestation Challenge in our Invincible CEO community. And it was so much fun. Now, don't worry. If you missed it, it's not a big deal because all of the sessions are recorded. Hey, Kervin from Downingtown, how are you? Welcome. I'm going to type in here because now I can figure out how to do these. I'm getting fancier every week. Every week. We got Marjorie. Hey, there you are. Marjorie was just in the 3-day Revise Your Past Manifestation Challenge. So if you missed it, no worries. All you have to do is go into the description box below, sign up for our amazing community, and all the recordings will be there for our challenge from April and also our March challenge, which was our Funny Money Manifestation Challenge. I'm so excited to keep bringing these challenges to you. And there's one other thing real quick that I just want to share, and I'm going to bring the screen share really quick for you so that you can see and have a visual. On the 18th and 19th of May, we will have our next, actually it's a 2-day online event. So if you are enjoying the deep dive series where we've done the jump off and we've done the wish fulfilled, and in this 2-day event, we're going to do a jump off wheel, a wish fulfilled wheel, and a connector wheel, so that once you leave that event, you will no longer have to worry about the messy middle of manifestation. It will come to you so amazing, so easy. You'll know what to do during that downtime, that hang time. And I'm excited to bring that event to you. So right now there's no links to click. I'm still doing the behind the scene work on that. And that should be out later, probably by the end of this week. And I will be posting it everywhere, sharing it in all the future videos. So I wanted to thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm so excited once again to bring all of this here to you. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section so that I can see them and we can answer them live. But we have decided, when I polled everybody, what do we want to talk about, since we've been talking so much on the channel about revision. Last Friday's community chosen video of the week was 3 fun techniques and I believe we used That Never Happened. I'm drawing a blank at what the other 2 were. That Never Happened was one of the, I Remember When was another, and I forget what the 3rd one is, but I will link that in the description box below after we're done going live so that you can check out that video. I made it really, really simple. And on my Friday videos, I'm now offering a workbook. And once we have the community chosen video that the community will vote on right now, and I think right now it's how to manifest money out of the blue. It looks like it's going to be Friday's topic. So you can get until midnight tonight to vote there if you haven't done that yet. And we will announce the winner tomorrow morning. And then the workbook will be up in the group, the same group that we held our manifestation challenge. So you only have to sign up once. Once you sign up, you get all the wonderful perks. And thank you, Marjorie. The 3rd one was, Is That So? So it was I Remember When, Is That So? And that quickly, I just forgot the other one. All right, we're on a roll here tonight. It's like instant revision going on in my brain. So we've talked a lot about revision. We've talked a lot about impressing the subconscious mind. And there is a lot of contradicting information on YouTube, on the internet about manifestation. And one of the reasons why I've noticed this happening is that when we're being guided to grow our YouTube channel, basically we're told to go do some research, see what videos are already out there that have gotten some traction by other coaches. And this is not just the manifestation genre. This is all the different genres. This is kind of how you're trained. And then go make a video on the same topic, pretty much saying the same thing. So you get this regurgitation of people saying the same videos over and over and over again. And you're not really quite sure, are they just repeating what they heard? Because it's easy to repeat in a video what you once heard, or are they actually bringing some real life experience to it? And if you get enough people saying the same thing, it seems to be real. And that's why it's important for me not to do those kind of clickbaity titles here. I'm okay with the growth going the way that it's going, because I want to offer really authentic content with high integrity, that this is something that I've experienced. All the videos that I'm offering you, once again, it's because of my personal experience of over 30 years working with the subconscious mind before there was a YouTube, before manifestation was talked about like it is now. Now it's been around for a really, really long time, but it just seems so recently that it's gotten popular. So when you're here on this channel, it's always through my personal experience. It doesn't mean that I can't bring in I remember when, but I will always share with you how I do it and how I've gotten results from that. So that's my promise to you, that there's always going to be authenticity and integrity here. And there's nothing wrong with the other coaches offering what they're offering, because there's no wrong way of doing things, and it's a way to get started. And that's a wonderful, wonderful way. But for you, when there are contradicting things, or if you're confused, that's why I do these Wednesday night lives. So if you are here and you have questions that maybe you've heard something somewhere else and we say it a little different here, or maybe you've heard it somewhere else and you have some questions, now's the time to put those in the live chat so that I can answer those for you and kind of give you my spin and take on it. And what I love about lives, that these are so spontaneous. Also, the other thing I did want to mention, that on occasion, at least once a month, we do hot seat coaching here live on YouTube. So if that is something that you're interested in the description box below, you can apply to sit in the hot seat, and it's almost like a free coaching session for you, that whatever you have going on in your manifestation energy, in your mind, we can help walk you through it. So while I'm waiting for some questions to come over, some of the topics that were chosen to talk about were revision. And I know for those of you guys that were just over in the 3-day event, some of this may be repetitive, but repetition is good because we're talking about the subconscious mind. So what I really would like to take this is taking revision with the concept of time, because even here I mentioned past, now, and future. But really, there is only now. And we were doing a little bit of a mind-blowing exercise over in the 3rd-day revision session, where the big reveal is that there is no past, there is no future, there is only now. And for a mind that is so attached to time, to clock calendar time, to psychological time, very rarely does it go into simultaneous time, because the thinking mind can't. So with any revision, with anything manifestation, the most important thing, and that's why I'm loving this deep dive into the now series, because when you go deep in the now, you don't have questions. A lot of the questions that I get on the channel automatically lets me know that you haven't gone deep enough into the now yet. And again, it's not a criticism. It's just through my own experience, because I've been where you are. And I've been in that place where it was so exciting and it was hit or miss, but it's what I was using for years, for over 30 years ago as an interrogator, being the bigger awareness and watching the script play out and being so conscious in the now moment as to how to direct the interrogation. Everything I learned from manifestation, I learned being an interrogator, because when you were sitting across from me, every breath you took, every sound you made, every move you made, I know that's subconscious. Now, the words coming out of your mouth were conscious, But if they didn't match what I was experiencing with you, and I would allow you to talk, because the more you talk, the more you made it easier for me to kind of weave a web to catch you in, right? And really, as I said before, the majority of the people that I interviewed and interrogated weren't bad people. They just didn't make clear, conscious choices in the now moment because of necessity, opportunity, or a combination of both. And I've dedicated my life to help people come into the now, get zeroed out, and make clear, conscious choices so strong that fear and doubt do not stand a chance in an activated, aligned, and anchored individual when you know what you've chosen, because the past doesn't exist. We create something called clock and calendar time to make it appear like the now moment is moving. That's how there's movement. Because if we stayed in simultaneous time, and the more still you become, and you've heard in some of Neville Goddard's teaching, be still and know that I'm God, the stiller you get in the now moment, and we've taken you into 3 deep breaths, we've taken you into 3 minutes as resting as awareness, or you'll hear me call it 3 minutes to 0 point. We haven't gotten you yet to 6 or 9 minutes. But the deeper you go into the stillness and everything else starts to fade away, there is no movement in simultaneous time. That's why it's everything, everywhere, all at once. And the really cool thing about getting up to the point of stillness, of simultaneous time, you can't get there in the thinking mind. I remember I used to be able to do this so easy when I was a kid, and I would call it, I would go into the voids. And there was a dark void and there was a white void. So have you ever seen The Matrix? My white void almost looked like that scene with Morpheus and Neo in the first Matrix, where there was a TV set and a couple chairs and everything else was white. My dark void seemed like what we would call space. It had stars, it was dark, it had that feel, and they were both absolutely wonderful. And I could simply go to either one by just going into the now moment and repeating the word nothing, 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 nothing until it became babble. And I got myself so centered in the now moment, I could feel reality splitting, and I would go into this void. And in that void, there was nothing but me. Sometimes I did have a body and sometimes I did not. But there was such a sense of peace, of wholeness, of it's really beyond words. And you had to get there because it's literally beyond words. You cannot speak and think. And as an adult, as I was remembering what I used to do and tapping back into that, and it's a little, what would you call it? A little nerve-wracking, I guess, when you're starting to leave behind the world of form and you're starting to leave behind the world of thought. And I would get so frustrated because it was about to pop and it didn't. And one day, a little voice in my head said, "You're right there. Let go of thought. Just totally surrender into it. You got to surrender and go through to get out." And the moment that I decided to let go of all thought, which really meant letting go of the identity, the character identity, and popped into that beautiful, you could call it nirvana, you could call it a void. It doesn't matter what you call it. And the whole idea would be every time I would get there and I'm about to pop to go in, it's like, oh, I have all these questions and I want to get all these questions answered. But there was a you understood feeling that when you're there, all the everythingness is there. Like you have no questions anymore. Even if you went there with questions, you'd have to leave the questions at the door. They couldn't go through. And you just absorbed this state of being, this feeling, this, again, there are no words. But you knew intuitively, without thinking, that you were absorbing something and bringing it back down so that when you would come back down into the human form and things would start moving again. And when I would first start doing this and would come back in, I got a little nervous because I couldn't speak yet. Like I could form thoughts in my head and allow them to come in, but they weren't coming out. They would come out like blah, 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 like very mumbled. And then I learned that as I came out of that state and I came back here, just to be the observer, So I really got to understand what it was like to be in that observer state where you're totally understanding everything, but you couldn't speak if you wanted to. And all the stuff that you absorbed, that when I finally would come back to what you would call like a normal human state, I didn't have the questions anymore. I knew they were answered without knowing what the answers were. And it was so good to be in that state of knowing that things just started to flow in unbelievably, unbelievably. And now that's part of what it is that I'm trying to, or not even trying, really want you to experience. Any way that I can to get these experiences to you, that's what I'm looking to do. Because once you've been in those states, you start to see how much show is going on in the videos that are here. And that's why I suggest that you join our manifestation group, because we can interact one-on-one there, where we can actually talk to each other, and I can get you into those states. Because if you've truly gone there and you've gone deep into the now, you really are okay with there's no real time, because the stiller you get, time isn't needed. And then when you start to activate and you really start to see that you are the center of the universe, that there is nothing outside of you, you actually, all the things we talk about conceptually, my goal is to get you into the experience. As I said in one of the deep dives this week, I used to call myself an energetic experience alchemist, because all of this words and language means nothing until you experience it. I want to get you into that experience. Does anyone have any questions while we're on here? This is so exciting for me. And I know that there's only so much I can do over a computer screen. That's why I like the one-on-one coaching, but I also like the real in-person events that we do. And they are coming up, and there'll be one in the States and one in Europe. So getting all of that information together. But just remember, nothing you want is in thought. Nothing you want is in language when it comes to manifestation. To really totally pull out, and even as an investigator, I would say to people, you have the right to remain silent. Because if you are silent and not only not speaking words out loud, but within yourself, meaning total stillness, if someone is out and they're asking you questions, if someone truly went into that state of being when I was interviewing or interrogating them, there'd be nothing I could do unless I also went into the state too. And it made me start to realize, that's why I left doing that, because I realized in order for me to be an investigator, I had to create a reality that put people at a detriment in order to be investigated. And that's where you go into these higher consciousnesses, and you know that all realities exist simultaneously. Which ones do you want to play in? I'd rather play here, which is so much exciting for you to realize the powerful creator you are. But if you're in a reality where the mind is so active, it's going to do everything it can not for you to allow you, the consciousness, to shut it down, because it doesn't exist in that simultaneous state. So the conscious mind needs time and space in order for it to do its job. And that's all it's doing, is doing its job. The subconscious mind already is everything. It is the simultaneous state of simultaneous time. And as you start to go back down into clock and calendar time and you leave simultaneous, then you get into that psychological time where you're just the observer, or time flies or speeds up or slows down, of what Einstein called relativity, right? And the example that he gave for his theory of relativity is, imagine a train going at 150 miles an hour on the track. If you're standing outside the train near the tracks and the train goes by you, it's going to seem like it's zooming by. But at the same time, people on the train are not experiencing 150 miles an hour. They're experiencing it moving, but because they're within it, they experience it more psychological time and space versus what you're experiencing out here in calendar time. So it's an amazing when you give yourself the different perspectives, because the train is moving what it's moving. It's what is the perspective of the person outside versus inside. So when you're looking at manifestation and you're looking at it a way to just get something or bring something in, you can have success that way, but it's going to be hit or miss. Eventually, you're going to get exhausted because and I know this as a Reiki grandmaster, if I want to get you under into that state akin to sleep state, that alpha state, I got to exhaust your conscious mind. So eventually, when you get to the point with manifestation where you're frustrated, you're exhausted, this isn't working anymore, it's about to pop. It really is. But you don't have to go that way anymore. That is one way to get there. You can just get there, right? When I remember one time I saw a meme on Facebook and it was like 15 or 20 steps of how to love yourself. And it started off with that you don't like yourself, and you pick yourself apart, and then eventually you figure out all the things you've done wrong, and then you start letting them go, and you're doing the don't spiritual bypass and do the work, and eventually you get to the last block where it says you love yourself. And I looked at that and I went, wow, that's a story. Why not just go to the end? Why not just go to love yourself? Why do you have to do all that stuff with all this baggage you're carrying around if there is no past? But the conscious mind wants to create something to keep itself relevant because you can't take it with you when you go to that simultaneous time. But when you're in that space, oh my gosh, it's like you feel like you still have a body because you can feel the sensations, but it's so, I don't even know what to call it. There are no words for it. And then you kind of reconnect to that feeling where you start to realize in order for there to be fear and doubt, there must be words. And I walk people who train with me, who coach with me, I give you this special technique of how you can prove that to yourself by conjuring some stuff up with you with words and then letting the words go. But when you get to that simultaneous space, and when I tell you just getting there and feeling that feel and having that experience outweighs any amount of money, outweighs any type of thing, relationship, anything that you would actually want to bring yourself here. It's so powerful. And people say to me all the time, well, why would you want to leave there? Well, because you're not having a physical experience. Everything is so still that other than the sensation you're feeling, that none of this is needed at all. And I've heard, hey Anthony, how are you? I heard some people talk about near-death experiences, and really what they're talking about is they're getting close to experience simultaneous time. Unfortunately, it had to be induced by an accident or something where you can go into simultaneous time just by sitting or laying down and resting as awareness, or going to 0 point, as we call it now, here. And it's the deeper you go into the now, the deeper you go into the breath, after you go beyond 3 minutes and you get 6 minutes and you get 9 minutes, you almost feel like you can feel your cells splitting in half. You can feel your food digesting. You feel like you're inside your heart. Not that your heart's beating inside you, but you feel like you're inside your heart. It's like you can taste sounds and feel with your nose, like all the senses get mixed up and none of it makes any sense, because you're really experiencing that allness that you are. And from that point, you can look back and see how this is all just stages of consciousness dancing for you. What is it that you want to experience? And it's so beautiful. And I know on these different levels that people, whether we're talking manifestation or we're talking about history or we're talking about whatever, if you start to take a look at stories, there's a lot of holes in the story. There's a lot of assumptions that you're going to be asked to accept in order for that story to seem somewhat true. I mean, if you think about when you watch your favorite TV show, there's a lot of assumptions that you're accepting in order to keep the TV show a half hour or an hour long. And it never seems like there's the real repercussions that would be in real life if these things were actually happening, but we're being entertained. And that's what the conscious mind does in order to keep you in a reality. Because if you're being entertained through social media, through TV, through music, not to say that you can't have your moments of enjoyment, but if you knew what was in simultaneous time waiting for you, none of that would seem exciting for you anymore. Until it was again, because simultaneous time, again, you're not in, and it's what I would say is what you would call 5D, right? If 3D is the character of clock and calendar time, like we said in one of the videos that I recently have done, psychological time is the hybrid. It's that stage in between the human being and going into that creator state. And then simultaneous time is the creator state. If you have questions, you just haven't gone deep enough in the now. Maybe you've gotten to psychological time, but if there's still questions and you're not willing to let them go, to go deeper into the now, because deeper, when I say deeper into the now, it's about deeper into experience. It's about going deeper within yourself, because the only way out is through. And when you get to that place, none of the things matter. And you're up there, and when you come back in, because you realize, and playing with the word matter, nothing matters, all the stuff that turns into matter is because you've chosen it. And your subconscious mind, I want to share a story I was sharing in the 3-day event. And I don't know the name of the show, but Chris Hemsworth is some kind of adventure or challenge show that he was doing. And I can't remember if it was Disney or if it was Netflix, but I will find it and see if I can post a link to it, where he was going to go at the top of a high-rise building. I don't know what city it was. And he was going to walk across some kind of plank or something above the city, like hundreds of feet in the air. And in order to prepare him to do this in real life, he was going to do some training. And he was in a warehouse, and they had on the warehouse floor marked it out like a ladder would be if you were walking across a ladder. And he was putting this VR headset on that would simulate exactly what he would be experiencing up at the top of the building. And this is why I say to you that you don't have to impress your subconscious mind, because it's impressed instantly. The moment that he put that VR headset on, even though intellectually he knew he was on the ground in a warehouse and he was totally safe, the moment he put that VR headset on, his subconscious mind truly believed he was on top of that building, ready to take a step on that ladder. And immediately, that quickly, he shifted and his body went into panic mode. He did too, so that he actually took the headset off and was blown away at how quickly the subconscious mind believed that. Even though consciously, intellectually, point of discernment, he knew exactly where he was. So with this, with manifestation, just like we talked about Schrodinger's cat before, it is and it isn't simultaneously. If you're commanding something into your reality and it's not showing up yet, but you know what you've chosen and you have not wavered, you just have to go deeper into the now. That's it. And create that bigger flooding of your consciousness, letting your subconscious know that you are totally safe, because remember, it wants to keep you safe. That's part of its job, is to keep you safe. So the moment, and his body, he said he felt all the sensations. His heart was racing. He could feel himself getting warmer, because even though he was on the ground in a warehouse, his subconscious mind thought he was really on top of that building and made him react in that way. And that's what we're doing in the now moment, when all that's happening, you consciously are in the room that you're in. And because not a whole lot is happening that's entertaining to the conscious mind, it starts to bring in things to entertain you, like, that'll never work. You screw things up. Nothing's ever, you're stuck. whatever the narrative is. And because you're listening to these words come in and you're believing you're now on top of a building, your subconscious is reacting immediately. So now what you have to do in this now moment with revision, because there is no past, the moment that you say something, that you think something, you are bringing it here and now. Because if it's something that happened, and let's say it's not in the room that you're in, or the people that it happened with aren't even there, your subconscious mind believes it's real, just like Chris Hemsworth's subconscious mind believed he was on top of a building 100 stories up, or however high up he was. That's why you got to become present in the now moment. You got to zero out and show yourself, I am safe in my imagination. All that's happening doesn't need a story. So if I'm going to add a story in, you're automatically revising, whether it's something you think you experienced in your past. But let me bring in the investigator here a little bit. Let me bring in the interrogator, Dede, for a little bit. Where's your proof? Would you be able to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt? Because that's a high standard to go into a courtroom and have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And I had a conversation with someone in our second day, and she was sharing a situation. And I said, prove it to me. Prove it to me right now, because right now the story she was saying and the people involved were not there. And I asked her, why would you want to bring that here? If you're going to bring them in, speak so highly of them. Speak about how wonderful they are. Speak about how amazing the situation is. Because your subconscious mind is on. It's on it. And then it's 3 to 7 seconds ahead of you. So it's constantly setting you up for that experience. Life is happening in real time, not in the past and not in this distant future. 3 to 7 seconds ahead of you. And whatever you're doing right here, right now, in the safety, 99.9% of the time, you are in total safety. You are so safe that you can create lions about to attack you in your mind, and your body will react like there's an actual lion ready to attack you. And that's what most people do when they tell me, they come to me and they say, I have anxiety. I can't get rid of it. Well, you're the one creating it, because where is it? Point to it. Do you have it in a jar somewhere? Where is this thing? We create these stories and then we believe them, even though none of it's happening now. And if you're going to create stories, why not create the best ones ever? Who cares if you're questioned whether it's true or not? Because the old ones that you think are true, you can't prove them any more than what it is that you would try to be proving that one either, right? I say this all the time. Tell me what you had for breakfast today and then prove it. And when you go up against me and you're trying to prove what it is that you had for breakfast, you're going to realize you have no proof. You absolutely have no proof. People say, oh, I'll give you the receipt. I bought it. No, that's just a piece of paper with some numbers on it. That's not proof. Or that I could be at the store and there's a video. No, that just proves that you're at the store. It doesn't prove that you ate your breakfast this morning. Marjorie says she conjured up a horrible convo the other night, and it made her so up and feel even sick. I kept saying this is not happening, but the feeling stayed there all night. I kept saying I'm safe. That's exactly it. If you had a conversation, if that happens, let me give you some steps of what to do. Number one, Marjorie, was the actual person of the conversation there that night, or was just all inside your mind? My guess would be that would be the case. So if you're having a conversation and it goes to show you how quickly your subconscious mind, it's already there being impressed. And by the time you're feeling it, it's 3 to 7 seconds already impressed. Okay, yes, it was all in your head. So in that situation, it's sort of the little technique I was talking about earlier. All you do is you start your deep breathing, your ground zero point resting as awareness, and stop the thought. Stop all thought. And within 90 seconds, I've never had a client go beyond 90 seconds. The feeling will go away. The reason why it seemed like it would have lingered there all night is because there were still some thoughts about it going on. So that's why you have to have a clear, definitive stop. And that's what zeroing yourself out does. It's a clear, definitive stop. And when that happens, you choose again. I could choose anything, and I'm going to choose this. And it doesn't even have to be the opposite of what that other thing was. You could choose ice cream. You could choose pizza. You could choose a nice walk at the park and conjure that up in your head. You know, I've said many times, the moment that you think of your favorite food, your mouth is going to start to salivate, even though the food's not there, because the subconscious mind is like, got it, boom. That's why when I hear these teachers say that you have to do things over and over and over to impress the subconscious mind, I'm calling bullshit. If I can think of pizza and my mouth is salivating like that, I don't have to conjure pizza over and over and over again. It's already ahead of you. Every step you take, it's already created that for you to walk upon. It's so powerful. Neville Goddard speaks about that quite a bit. So you are so loved and so taken care of that you can sit in a completely safe room and scare the heck out of yourself, whether you're doing it with your own thoughts or you put on a scary movie. And again, when the conscious mind is entertaining you and you're watching a scary movie and something happens and you jump, that lets you know, once again, your subconscious mind believes everything's real because, again, intellectually, you're sitting in your house on the couch or you're at a movie theater, totally safe. So now if we're going to bring something here and now, and that's why I'm loving this deep dive series that we're doing. If you have chosen something new and it has not showed up yet, go back in and go deeper into the now. And you don't have to choose it over and over again as you're going, because eventually we want to get to the point where you're going to release thought. How do you release thought when your monkey mind is going crazy? Just ask it, what's my next thought? Or then what? Now what? So if my mind's coming in real negative, and I know it's not me, it's just the echoes, but they won't go away. And I'll go, okay, if that's me, all right, fine. I accept that's me. Now what? What was the purpose of it? Now what? And soon as I do now what, it goes away. And I go, and I never leave that state saying, oh, that was me. I accept that. I always go, but I'm awesome. I'm wonderful. I go back deep into my I am, where I don't even have to say anything. I always make sure in all the conversations, whether it's within me or outside, that I leave victorious. Always leave your court victorious. My grandfather played professional basketball for Philadelphia, taught me everything I know, and always said to me, you never leave the basketball court unless you're victorious. If you made your last shot and your team won, you're all good. If your team won, but you didn't make your last shot, you go back after the game and you shoot your shot until you make it. You leave that court victorious. It didn't matter if it was home or away. If the team lost and I didn't make my last shot, even if the team lost and I did make my last shot, I was going back. And I always say, as I'm walking off the court, I'm victorious. I do it when I leave the gym. I do it when I leave my office. It is so who I am now. Because then my mind can't come in with an echo and say, you didn't do this or you did that wrong. Because I'm always being victorious in the now moment. Because it's the only place I can be. And with conscious awareness, again, you don't want to have to constantly be talking to your echoes like they're 3-year-olds that you have to discipline. Just go where they can't go. Go into the simultaneous now. And whenever I'm about to go into the simultaneous now, it never fails. Dogs will start barking, sirens will be going on, and I just laugh because I know what the mind's trying to do. But I'm more stubborn than my mind, And if it wants to play chicken, we can play chicken. Guess what? I'm going to win. I am not wavering. I am not wobbling. And when you go into that simultaneous time, there is no doubt or fear, because all doubt or fear comes through words. All comes through thoughts. You release the thoughts, the fear goes away. You release the thoughts, the anxiety goes away. You release the thoughts because you have to have a story to feel frustrated. You have to have a story to feel fearful. You have to have a story for there to be doubt. And in order to get off, I call it root chakra all the time, root chakra creation that says, I am. It's all about repetition. It's all about belonging, feeling safe, feeling survival mode, really, making sure all your needs are met. At the very least, what I'm trying to get everyone to do here on the channel is either move up to sacral chakra, which is I create, instead of I am, is I create. And I have a saying, I do not wish, I do not want, I do not hope. I command and I create. And then once you're done with the creation at sacral chakra, you can go up to solar plexus, which is I will. You don't even have to say it. It is done before even the words come. And I think that's where everybody wants to be a manifestation, just like wave that magic wand and there it is. But that's a big leap when you've been in survival mode down here. So that's why I love having that sacral chakra, because when you are in pure creation mode, it's not about survival anymore. It's not about fearful. It's not about frustrating. It's about flow. When you're in that creative zone, and you probably have felt that in things that you've created, there's levels of reality that's all that is. There's no competition. It's just creation for the sake of creation. And the conscious mind goes, well, how can anybody sell their stuff? Or how can we? It's a whole different way of living, whole different way of living. And it's so much more enjoyable in the now moment. Because when you are hungry in your imagination, you don't have to go food shopping. I mean, unless you want to create imagination, we have to go food shopping there. You just give yourself the food. In your imagination, if you go out to your car and it's out of gas, okay, that's kind of weird that it's your imagination and you're creating a car that has no gas, but you don't have to go to the gas station. You just fill your car up in your imagination. Do you know that you can say every time you touch the steering wheel and your butt touches the chair in your car, it automatically fills up with gas? If you keep doing that in your imagination and you keep flooding your imagination with that, it will spill out into your real world. Because the only reason why you believe you have to go to a gas pump and pump your gas is because that's imagination too. And you believed in that imagination because the mind always shows all the characters. You probably saw your parents do it first, and then you're driving now and you do it. And if you didn't know any better, you teach your kids that. And one of the things that always drove me nuts, especially in the corporate world, is, oh, that's how we do things here. That just never felt like ever sat well with me. Oh, that's how we just do things here. Well, if that's the reality you want to play in and that's how it's done, then fine. But you could always do it differently. That's what evolution of consciousness is. It's taking what is, allowing what is to be, and then doing it differently. Very, very simple. Does anyone have any questions why we're on here tonight? So revising your past, we could use fun techniques like that never happened. Is that so? I remember when. Oh, there you are is another one. I have a whole bunch of them. But you don't want to go in and doing any techniques without first going into the 0 point, zeroing yourself out. And sometimes you just need that quick revision, and that's fine. But if you really want to revise, go so deep into the now. And again, I will be offering many experiences that we can do this together, that you forget words, you forget time and space. It's really that transcending above all of this, it's like, when you're listening to love songs and you've never been in love, and you get the gist of it, but you can't understand why people are so like wacky about it. And it's the same thing with getting into that simultaneous now. You hear all the concepts, you hear what people are saying, but have they really experienced it? And then when you experience it, you really get what is being talked about. And that's where I would say, if you are working with someone else, ask them if they've ever been there and what was it like. Because if they were really there, otherwise you're kind of getting a surface level teaching of probably repeating what somebody else said, as opposed to bringing you to the experience, and have them bring you to the experience. Because that's where all of this is about. All of this is about. So revise for your past is to go so deep in the now and just, I want to say, fill yourself up. I don't know what words to use. It's like you're just this cosmic sponge and you're just absorbing, and then you come back down into form, or come through form again, and you are such at peace that you're no longer in that storyline, in that script, and yet things look similar, but you'll start to see things look different. Especially when I teach astral projection, when you project out astrally, most of your room looks the same, but maybe your lamp on the lampshade on your lamp is different, or maybe the color of your couch is different. It's almost, you're in a different dimension, a different reality. And that's kind of what we're talking about here, without it getting too woo-woo, I guess you would say. All the lucid dreaming, astral projection, consciousness work, manifestation, it's really talking about that same space. Your mind is creating it for you, but once again, it wants to keep you safe. So the more you open up and go through the feel of it, just feels like your body's going to explode in a million pieces as you're going into simultaneous time, and realizing that it's just your mind not saying, are you worthy, or are you sure? It's like, okay, you ready? It's just like right before you get buckled in for the roller coaster. Are you ready for this? And boom, you go. And it's so powerful, so amazing. And I promise you come back, because there's nowhere else to go. There's only here and now, right? Revision is about taking the there and bringing it here and making it now, because that's all it really is. But to your conscious mind, it has to surrender itself in order for you to go into that simultaneous time. And it trusts that you're going to come back, but you're not going to come back to the same level or version of it, is the best way that I can describe it. That was quite a mouthful. Any questions, guys? Are you loving the deep dive series? Have you been following it? Lots more to come. We have that 2-day event coming up in May. I'm so excited about it. Like I said, I don't have any links to share yet, but I just wanted to get it out there into the consciousness. That 2-day event's coming. It's a Saturday and Sunday. We're going to have 6 sessions, 3 sessions each day. You will be blown away. And that's why I always get you into the group early, get you nurtured, because you have to be well hydrated, because we are going to move a lot of energy, and you are going to be physically wiped out, mentally wiped out at the end of those 2 days. And if I have my way, I will get you in that simultaneous time, and at least give you the roadmap to get there on your own, because sometimes that conscious mind will come in and slam its foot down and go, nope, not today. And that's okay. It happens to me still. But I'm stubborn, and I go back in. And I become more aware and more present right here, right now. So thank you guys so much for being here today. If there are no other questions going on right now, I appreciate you deeply. We're hitting milestone after milestone. We just got monetized here on YouTube. So that's the other thing I wanted to mention. I am going to do a YouTube membership channel. And what that's going to be is meditation videos. So I'm going to be walking you through scripted meditations. I believe right now I'm probably going to have 2 to 3, maybe 4 each month if you're in the meditation. So it's going to be a special side group right here on YouTube. And then they also offer some other features. I'm still learning all about that. So I wanted to thank everybody for logging in, watching all the videos. That was a big help. We've been over 1,000 subscribers for a really long time now. But here's the thing about manifestation. YouTube gives you a year to do it. My goal was 6 months. and we did it in 4.5, less than 4.5. And that's what manifestation is all about. Staying so conscious and aware in the now moment, enjoying every moment of what you're doing. And when 3D reality tells you nope, you go, I'm on the wrong floor. I'm on the wrong level of reality. You pull back out to that 0 point. You take that elevator up in simultaneous time. You come out on a new floor. It looks exactly like the one you left, but you feel it to your core. And as a personal trainer, your core, you got to get that core activated in order to have an amazing exercise, an amazing workout. It's all about the core. It's all about the breath. It's all about the hydration, and manifestation is no different. You are the core. It is what you say it is. So I'm so thankful and grateful for all of your participation, your shares, your likes, your subscribes, voting in our community tabs, voting for our community chosen videos, sharing your experiences, asking me questions. I love it all. I hope you are too. If there are no further questions tonight, I appreciate you being here and spending time with me every Wednesday. We will continue. You guys have spoken. So Wednesday at 8 p.m. it stays. Awesome, Lori. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you being here. If you haven't joined our Invincible CEO YouTube community or our private community, that's where we're having our manifestation challenges. I'm going live on Zoom in our group. It stays there. It's private. Whatever we do there stays there. And it's there for you to go back over and over and over again. And I am so open to suggestions. If there's challenges you want to see, if there's certain things that you want to experience, you can always reach out to me here in the comments. You can reach out to me at denise@theinvincibleceo.com. However you want to reach out to me, and let me know what you want, and we will get it whipped up for you, because your wish is my command. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next time. Enjoy.